This is it. This is the 1998 Chevy 1500 with a 4L80E transmission and a 454 big block Vortec under the hood. The truck came with a 350 and a 4L60E, 4x4 everything, electronic shift. There's still some things that need to be done to it. I need to get a new AC condenser because it's kind of whiny. I need to get a fan shroud because the 350 fan shroud is shorter, or no, it's longer, and the big block is a lot longer of an engine, so I need a shorter fan shroud off a truck with a 454. So yeah, I had a 98 C 2500, so two-wheel drive 2500. It had a two-wheel drive tranny. I found somebody with a 4x4 transmission and transfer case. The transfer case was floor shift, so I have to cut a hole in my floor right about there to swap to the floor shift and run some wiring, I believe, for it. I can't remember right. What else? What I had to do to get everything to work. Basically, I swapped all the wiring with the computer over. At first, the truck did not start because of the security, so I had to program this ignition to this computer because this computer is programmed to the 2500. I had to program it to this ignition. I still have to get a 3-quart radiator because I'd like to run it a little bit cooler than what it is, a little bit nicer. I had to swap because the 1500 had vacuum boost for brakes. I had to swap the hose into the intake right there to have brakes, nice brakes anyways. I installed the second battery. The 0 gauge is just so it charges good and stuff. What else could I have to do up here? Let's see. I believe that's it. Was just the vacuum. Still have to get a 454 fan shroud, like I said, and a 3-quart radiator. I believe that's it up there. Underneath, for the transmission, we had to run the cross member back, the 4x4 cross member backwards. We just cut the same one that was in the truck, pushed it backwards, drilled some 4 new holes in the frame, and used the same bolts. It's a little dirty down there right now because I took it through some mud and two-wheel drive. This is all the stock suspension for the 1500. It looks like it's been recently replaced, so it's still a little bit stiff. It should be. The motor mounts were the same. What else can I think of? The transfer case would not work off the 4L60 because the splines are different. That should be obvious. The spline for the 4L80 is a lot bigger, I believe. Yeah. I swapped all the exhaust over, well, most of the exhaust I could over. It came off a long bed, so we had to chop it down, and then it was welded wrong, so I had to chop the exhaust off, and I was just too impatient to weld it back on, so that'll be done later because it sounds like shit right now. I got some modifications going on right now. I'm throwing big heavy duty bumper on instead of that bent up bad one. The hitch is just getting in the way right now. The 454 I pulled out of the 2500 had a remanufactured GM tag on it somewhere, right in there, that you can't see right now because that's on there. There it is. So yeah, it's a remanufactured engine. I have no idea how many miles are on it. There were 277,000 miles on that white 2500, which I swapped the cluster over. Let's see. The transmission, like I said, I had to buy because that transmission was 2-wheel drive, and I wanted the 4x4 truck. So I had to get, because the 4L80 is longer, like I said, put the crossmember back. I had to get different drive shafts, a shorter one, and also because the drive shaft came out of a heavy duty, and my rear end is a lightweight or whatever you want to call it. I had to get a special U-joint, which I have the box around here somewhere. It's a mess right now. I don't know where the U-joint box is. It had to be a special U-joint because there are 2 different yoke sizes or whatever. But O'Reilly's was happily able to help me. They helped me great. What else? I'm trying to think. When I drive down the road, I'm pretty sure the speed sensor bad on this transmission or something's wrong with the wiring, because the cluster reads exactly half of what I'm doing. Like if I'm doing 30, it says 15, or 30, it says 30, I'm doing 60. And it doesn't like to shift right. It shifts really light. I have to be at least doing 3,500 RPMs for it to shift to the next gear, which doesn't make sense to me. And if I kick it down, it feels like it's throwing itself back into first, or tries to, and it like red lines. So I try not to do that too much. Other than that, because I swapped all the wiring over, I didn't have to splice anything that I can remember. Yeah, I didn't have to splice anything. And I was doing some research on the 4L80 swap, and because when you do reading on that, I never thought about it before I did all this. They say you have to swap the pins, but that's only if you keep your stock harness for the 350. You have to swap your pins, or for the 4L60, you have to swap your pins on the tranny to run the 4L80E. And I don't know, I was just doing a bunch of research on this whole swap before I did it. I couldn't find much of anything. I saw like 1 or 2 YouTube videos on the swap, but they didn't say anything or show anything. It was just a video of the truck running. So I thought I'd give you guys some info on everything I had to do. Let's see. I don't know. The truck runs awesome. It doesn't leak anything. It doesn't smoke. I mean, sometimes when I start it up, it runs a little bit rich, but I don't know. Then it cools down, or not cools down, but it calms down and whatever. I don't know how to explain it. The RPMs go down and just idle. So yeah, basically just either convert to a hydro boost, power booster or whatever, or just convert the 454 to a vacuum brake or whatever. Just run a vacuum line into the intake like I did. For the tranny, just run your cross member back, get different drive shafts. If you're gonna run the 4L80, I would not recommend running the 4L60E because I don't think it's gonna hold up very well to the 454 if you're gonna be mean to it, or if you're gonna tow with it. And the transfer case, I would recommend, just personal opinion, I would recommend going to a floor shift because you don't have to worry about the electrical problems on the switch, because those switches always go out. Yeah, that's basically it. If you guys have any questions, just comment or message me or whatever. Let me know. Alright, thanks for watching the video. Bye.